I've talked a lot about RJ Barrett on this channel, and anytime the Raptors are looking to make a big trade, and I try to come up with a mock trade, how the Raptors can get that player, the immediate player that goes into it is RJ Barrett. And a lot of people have taken real offense to that. And a lot of Raptors fans out there continue to question why on earth would the Raptors even consider trading this guy, considering since he's gotten hurt, the Raptors offense has fallen off a cliff. Clearly, he's a vital player to this team. Well, let's dig into that a little bit more. Let's discuss why RJ Barrett continues to pop up in these trade conversations and why it very much seems as though the Toronto Raptors continue to shop him. We saw all through the offseason that the Raptors were looking to trade RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett was a player they were trying to move. And, I mean, honestly, we even got some reports that came out that suggested that they had been trying to move him last season as well. Reports say, and this comes from even a good source like Mark Stein, it was in this paywalled article here. Reports are suggesting that when the Raptors were going to acquire Brandon Ingram for the New Orleans Pelicans, initially they had offered RJ Barrett in a deal to get Ingram. And instead, the Pelicans, quote, preferred the expiring contract of Bruce Brown and stretch 5 centers Kelly Olynyk. They preferred the expiring salaries of Brown and Olynyk versus, Kelly Olynyk, who's $13.5 million this season, so cheaper. They preferred the expiring contract of Bruce Brown to RJ Barrett with 2 more years on his deal, around $27 to $29 million, I think, for those 2 years. That's just unfortunately kind of where it feels like the status of RJ Barrett in NBA discourse and valuation around the NBA is. He is kind of viewed to be like, if the Raptors wanted to move off of him, that it would be more of like a salary dumping maneuver rather than a team trying to strengthen their team getting RJ Barrett. So when the Raptors are looking to acquire a big-time star player potentially like an Anthony Davis or Giannis Antetokounmpo, why is it RJ Barrett that's always inserted into the deal? Well, I think there's some very simple reasoning behind it. It's not Immanuel Quickley because Immanuel Quickley's skill set complements the top players in the team like Ingram and Scotty Barnes a lot more than that of the skill set of RJ Barrett. Now, I'm not saying RJ Barrett's skill set isn't important to the team. It takes a lot of the scoring pressure off of Barnes and Ingram, and that's valuable. They value his downhill scoring. They value his transition play. And evidently, since he's gotten out injured, the Raptors offense, like I said, has fallen off a cliff. Not to say RJ Barrett is just like the quick fix. You throw him in and all of a sudden the offense is good again. But it's a hell of a lot better having that 20-point-per-game player than not having the 20-point-per-game player. But when RJ Barrett's injured, he's out. Nobody's in his place. If you're making a trade, you're getting something back. That is the key here. Obviously, no RJ Barrett. You're better off having RJ Barrett. But the Raptors maybe are thinking that they could be better as a team without RJ Barrett and by replacing him with somebody else. And I think that's just where some people are not quite getting the full scope of the situation here. Because yes, obviously to be better off having Barrett than not having him. But like, remember, you're getting stuff back, at least in theory. So this is where my approach to this would differ from the front office, because it appears as though the front office has been somewhat interested in just dumping the RJ Barrett contract. They want to get off that. And I think financial flexibility with contracts is a little bit underrated. I think it's a little bit more important than we make it out to be. But even still, the Raptors are trying to win games this season. They're trying to get into the playoffs this season. And as long as that is the case, RJ Barrett is a player that helps them win. RJ Barrett is a player that is talented, and he's good. It's just the skill set there maybe not be as complimentary to Ingram as Barnes as something else that could be out there. So when I see stuff like this, and I saw it all over social media, but I see articles like this is from Jeremy Brenner on Sports Illustrated's website. It says Raptors' recent stretch may prevent RJ Barrett trade. I think certainly they'll have to think about it a little bit more now and think like, okay, our offense can't quite just get over the line on its own the way it is without Barrett. Like, clearly there's a lot of value in having that additional scorer on the team. But as it says here, the financial realities make him a clear trade candidate. An extension is unlikely given the Toronto Raptors offer hefty salaries to other players, which makes keeping Barrett risky. He'll be less value as an expiring deal next year when any potential acquiring team might lose him for nothing in 2027 free agency. I agree with the first part there. I actually disagree with the second part there. I actually think teams will view him as a little bit more desirable, knowing that he'll be off the books at the end of the season. I actually think the opposite. I think that makes him more valuable than he is right now with currently 1.5 years left on his contract. But that's kind of the viewpoint of the NBA, is that RJ Barrett is viewed a little bit as almost like salary matching or salary dumping. And we can even go back to the trade where the Raptors acquired RJ Barrett. Like, if we revisit this trade here, the Raptors, I maintain, were in the market to get Emmanuel Quickley. They wanted to get a point guard who could space the floor for this team. OG Anunoby, I mean, looking back at this trade, I kind of look back on it with a little bit of anguish and regret, but it's easy to say that now and not then when OG Anunoby was on an expiring contract. Like, Emmanuel Quickley was like the key piece of this deal, and he has not quite kicked on to the degree that we would have wanted at this point. Doesn't mean that can't happen down the line, but for sure, Emmanuel Quickley hasn't kicked on like we would have thought he would. RJ Barrett has improved with the Raptors, but it still feels like his style of play is not quite the style of play that winning teams are looking for. And if it was, he would be a lot more favorable in these trade discussions, I think. So I'm not trying to put RJ Barrett too down. I'm trying to just provide the reality of what the situation with him and his valuation around the league. At the end of the day, RJ Barrett, like I said, and continue to say, is a great player that helps the Raptors win. Maybe they're considering trades out there that could make them even better. And those sorts of trades, the easiest way to get up to that salary and match the salary is by using the $27 million that RJ Barrett's getting this season. It's the ease at which RJ Barrett can get traded, financially speaking, without sacrificing a really key archetype on the team like Emmanuel Quickley and the floor spacing provides and the point guard play that he provides. That is where the Raptors are approaching this. Now, again, where my stance is different is that the Raptors are trying to win games. I don't see the value in just salary dumping RJ Barrett somewhere. I don't see the value in that. If this is if the Raptors are keen on trading RJ Barrett, they want to trade RJ Barrett, then do it in a trade that you think makes your team better. Don't just get him off the books for the sake of it, because he is a talented player. I don't see the value in just getting him off the books. We clearly see that the team is struggling right now without him. And if you were to just salary dump him, not get much back, then you're dealing with the same issues throughout the rest of the season. And that's not going to help you win. The fact that you went out and acquired Brandon Ingram is a showcase that there was a desire to win games. So as long as there is the desire to win games, I'd say no salary dumping RJ Barrett. Keep him to help the team win. But if we're talking Anthony Davis, we're talking Giannis Antetokounmpo, we're talking I don't know if you can make a gamble on a Trae Young or a LaMelo Ball or even somehow Trey Murphy, then for sure I'm seeing an upgrade there. I'm seeing the team better. So I would approach those trades with RJ Barrett as a salary matching part of the deal. Kind of unfortunate that RJ is being used as this kind of pawn for these trades, but again, that's just the reality of the situation.